Hello guys, how is everybody? This is the part 2 of the 4090 video, and this is where I'll run a benchmark and compare it to the 3080 Ti. And yeah, I thought I'd share it with you because it's pretty incredible, this card so far. I wanted to spend a day messing around with it before I did this video, so yeah, let's go and do. Right, let's change back to the screen capture. Let's do some Fire Strike. Well, not Fire Strike, the, what do you call it? I was going to try Port Royale, but I need to upgrade to get it. Okay, so I've got MSI Afterburner open there. It's a bit more accurate than EVGA's Precision X software. And it's got a bit more detail in it. So I've got my notes, which I wrote down. So Time Spy. Okay, so here's my system specs. Obviously the 4090 is there, and then I'm on a 12700K and DDR5 RAM that's should be running at 5.2. I've got 32 gigs of it. So where are we now? So I'll look at the. I thought I could look at the results, but I've written it down anyway. Right, so let's run Time Spy. I won't bother with the demo because this card doesn't heat up much anyway. So yesterday the power limit, I was able to increase it to 115%, and then once it was updated that changed to 108. I'm not sure exactly why, but anyway, it's at 108. So let's click on, let's run a benchmark, and then I'll tell you what the numbers were with the 3080 Ti. Still a great card, the 3080 Ti. It just runs a bit hot, so I found I got better performance out of it by undervolting it. I got slightly better performance, and it ran a little cooler. It was still quite a hot running card. Lowest I could get it when it was running full pelt was about 70 degrees. Without the undervolting, it would reach 74, 75. So this should start any minute. Okay, first graphics test. I don't think there'll be anything to listen to because it only has sound when you do the when you're running it in loop without benchmarking. Yeah, the actual benchmark is without sound, so that is normal that you can't hear anything. I didn't run a Fire Strike test with the old card because it's Fire Strike's quite old now, and this seems to push the system harder from what I can tell. So there should be 2 or 3 graphics tests and then a CPU test. Can't remember if it does a combined one or not. But I've got the overlay on the top left now, and at the moment the GPU's at 48 degrees, which is, that's impressive, really impressive. I've not got any G-Sync or V-Sync enabled, so there's nothing that's going to have an impact on frame rate. I think this one pushes the graphics card a bit harder. I used to just sit here all day overclocking cards and running benchmarks. It's quite addictive when you're trying to get a high score on the leaderboard. But I don't do it that much at the moment because of how much electric's costing. This uses, last night when I was racing, it was using about 450 watts. That's just the GPU, that's not the whole system. CPU, not too bad, about 70 to 80 watts when I'm gaming. So with the rest of the system, it's quite a lot, you know, it's quite using a lot of electric. So I might enable DLSS when I'm doing the really long endurance races, because that'll probably cut down on the amount of electric that I use. Right, this is just the CPU test. Yep, CPU's running at 90 odd percent, 52 degrees, and there we go. CPU's clocked just at base clocks, I haven't overclocked it. Okay, so 26,000, graphics score of 30,072, so comparing that, the 3080 Ti, the graphics score was 18,894, so that's a huge jump. CPU score was about the same, a little bit higher on yesterday's test, but kind of in the margin of error. So yeah, the overall score combined was 18,000 on the 3080 Ti. It's 26,000 there. The test I did on this yesterday, when I first powered it up, it got to 30,000. I think that's because the power limit let it go up to 115. Not sure exactly why that is, I'll try and figure that out, but yeah, it's still pretty crazy numbers. So, let's pop in. Let's pop into ACC. So I did a little test before, messing around with DLSS and what else did I mess with? Oh, limiting the frame rate to see how efficient I could make it. And it is pretty mad. Okay. Let's just load a quick setup. Right, so VSync disabled, frame rate limit, let's just let's switch off DLSS again. So everything's maxed, epic everything. There's nothing I could do to make it higher.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Alright, let's have a little drive. So we've got the overlay on the left monitor. Let's get it warmed up. About 400 watts is being used. My old 3080 Ti maxed out was running about 350 watts. This is 401, 403, 406. Doesn't use as much power as Mount Panorama. Temperature's 59 degrees, 58. CPU. People think CPU upgrades are massive on this game, but they're actually not. Mine's running at 30%, 39 degrees, 79 watts. But using my old GPU on a 6700K, which is 6 generations old now, I was getting about the same frames. And the CPU was using about 50–60%. So when I upgraded to this CPU, there wasn't any change in frames. If you're on something, you know, even older than that, then maybe you'll see a little difference. But as long as the CPU can feed information fast enough to the GPU for it to run flat out, then your CPU's enough. So yeah, it's warmed up now. 63–64 degrees it's going between the GPU. 399 watts, 401. Frames per second is in the high 90s. So if I did this exact setup with 3080 Ti on these triple 1440s, I'll be getting about 40–50 FPS. You're at 100 FPS now. 101. 102, 105, 104. So it has literally doubled what I get on this. Right, let's do one more change. So let's put DLSS on, leave it at quality and 90%. So that means it'll take the graphics quality down by 10% to, you know, save on energy. So that's it. Nothing else changed. Everything's still epic. 140 odd FPS. Still looks lovely and smooth. 135 FPS. If I drop the settings down a notch, like I normally use on the old graphics card, the FPS is in the 190s. So we've got a solid 140. $350 watts we're using now. So at the moment it's using about the same as my old 3080 Ti. $369 watts. $60 degrees. So yeah, really impressive. It uses 14 gig of RAM and 9.3 gig of VRAM's being used. So yeah, that's about it really. So yeah, really impressed. So quiet, you just can't hear it running. Fan speed was at about 40% then, and you just can't hear it at all. So that's about it. That's all the testing I've done. I will try overclocking it and see where I can push it. Can probably get it close to 3 gig. So yeah, I might try undervolting as well and see where that goes. So yeah, I think that's about all I wanted to test for now. Need to go and do some practice now and then do a race tonight. So yeah, I hope this has been of some kind of use to somebody, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next race. See you later. Bye bye.